Okay. All right. Let me drop this in a second. Let's see what's going on. Make sure this is working. Yep, looks like it's working fine. Let me see. All right. Shalom, family. Shalom. Shema. Sure. No problem. I should have a little bit of time to do that. Let's try to end this early so that way we're not here too late. Shout out to Ryan Smith in the building, Cali Bank 78, Gathering of Israelite Nation, Netherlands. Shalom, shalom. Scott Garrett Headley, what's going on? Scoots Levi, Cheryl, Dimitri Elder, what's going on? Aki 617, let's get it. Ryan Smith. I'm honored to hear that, my brother. All praise to the Most High. I'm here to serve the people, man. Shout out to Haviva Bat Yahu Netanya Moriah, Sister Pam, Adonia Haor. Shalom, shalom, family. So I'm just doing this impromptu session just to kind of speak on a couple things, and just had a great build on Sister E's platform. If you don't know who Sister E is, look her up, hit subscribe. We had a great build on there. We was talking about the law and the Sabbath with Israelite Christians and Christians who don't identify as Israelites. And I think we had a great build, man. Shout out to Charles West in the building. Shout out to D. Glenn Royal from Oakland, CA. 12 Pearls, Rachel, Yah's daughter, Sister Pam. Yes, we had a great discussion. Shout out to Sister Millie Love in the building. And it's interesting because, I got into it late because we have a group where there's a whole bunch of us in a group. And Sister E had posted the link. And, she asked me to join in because she had other people in there. And then I got into the discussion an hour or some change in, but I kind of got the gist of it. So I was able to come in and contribute something constructive, I believe, to the panel. And I'm grateful that she allowed me to speak. We had a lot of great people on there as well that I respect. As you know, Elder Michael Holloway, he's been on his platform before. He was on the panel. Dr. Janet Noel was on there as well. Pastor Renice Kirkland was on there as well. Sister E and Pastor Kelly Richardson, right? We had a great bill talking on that, man. And there was a couple of people in that chat that, was talking reckless, you know what I'm saying? In regards to me, a few people talking reckless. Most people were kind of in sync with the dialogue. But I was telling them we was going to do the after party here. So you know how we do. We here at KHM, we open up the panel. You know what I'm saying? Several people have been commenting about that past lecture I did. So I want to talk about that as well. I'm going to just give y'all some time to join in. Oh, man, Brian, I'm honored to hear that, my brother. If there's anything I could do to assist you, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. The contact information below, my brother. So if you need me for anything, if I can assist, edify, equip, empower you in any way, let me know, okay? Because I'm here to help, all right? And again, I got a lot on my plate, but I do my best to sift through what I can to get to y'all. So if anybody's reached out to me, haven't heard from me, it's okay. Harass me. You know what I'm saying? Give me reminders or whatever the case may be, and I'll get back to you. It's not that I'm ignoring you. It's not that, that you're not important. It's just that, I try to answer things in the order that they're received. So sometimes it may be a little delay. And I'm getting help on it. With that. So it won't be as much of a burden, but I like to personally respond to people who reach out to me. You know what I'm saying? That's just how I am. You know what I'm saying? So thank you so much, Rachel, Yah's daughter. You can get some sleep if you want, sis. This can be recorded, and you can always go back and check the replay. All right. Shout out to Mattiyahu Ben Israel. What's going on, my brother Jamar Gale, Yahuda Dawood. What's going on? Benjamin Direwolf, Gen 4927. What's going on? Knowledge Truth. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Got to check in with you soon. And I'm about to get started, man. So shout out to Carolyn Shelton. Really enjoy Sister E's panel. Can't wait to hear what knowledge you're about to share with us as well. Hey, Sister Carolyn, are you new to this channel, sis? Let me know if you're new to this channel, because some people are here in the overflow from Sister E channel. She had like 150, almost 160 people that was watching her channel. And that's kind of big for a channel, you know what I'm saying? And people love like those panel discussions, you know what I'm saying? So I encourage them as well. I love to be invited as a guest, you know, just to listen. And sometimes I'm asked to speak, so I don't mind doing that as well. And, you know, if I'm here to help anybody, you know, I'm here to help. You know, if I have to have somebody's back, I'm here to have somebody's back. If I'm here to squash a beef or be that bridge, you know, I'm here to do what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Sister Pam. She says, I am new to this channel. Sister Pam, thank you for joining us. For now part of the KHM family. When you get a moment, subscribe to this channel and check out the archives. We got tons of content on here that I know you will love. And if you don't love anything, then you tell us what you want us to put on here and we'll talk about it. All right. The contact information is in the description below. All right. All right. Cool, Sister Carolyn. Cool. All right. Thank you, my brother Ryan, for that. I appreciate that. Zadok said he's new. Well, welcome to you as well. You know what I'm saying? Haviva, Bat Yahoo, Netanya Moriah. You said you're new as well. Thank you. Thank y'all so much for joining, man. I want people to see who's who in here. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for coming through. All right. Zadok also said that he's new. All right. Again, the same thing goes to you guys. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that thumbs up if you like any of the content. If you don't, you can hit the thumbs down. That's fine. But when you get a moment, check out the archives. Get for information in the archives. And anybody in the chat can co-sign that, so you don't think I'm just tooting my own horn of the channel. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tara Lael in the building. What's going on, my brother? Reckless Animosity. What's going on? Dory Giddens, I appreciate that. Says I am new to the channel. Speak, I subscribe. Thank you so much. I appreciate that, and big salute to you for being here. Again, hit that subscribe button, check out the archives, and I guarantee that you will be blessed by them. All right. Cool. All right. So family, shout out to Israel Yah in the building. All right. And as we do here, we give credit and honor to everybody in the chat. You know, because any success that we get here, we want to make sure it's vicarious. We want people to know who's supporting us and who's helping us get to the goals that we're trying to achieve. And it's all you guys there in the chat, and those of you who watch this, share this, and everything like that. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna get started. So I just came back from the panel with Sister E, and we're talking about a couple things there. And a couple key things I want to bring out that I want people to understand. Right. So my challenge always goes out to my Christian. Let me adjust this a little bit. My challenge always goes out to my Christian brothers and sisters, where I always encourage them to read the Tanakh without the New Testament in mind. And I ask them to do this so that way they can establish a foundation. Look at the queen in the building. That Toro begins. What's going on? Hold on. Let me put that on the screen. I got a celebrity that just came and said shalom to me, so I want the people to see that. All right. So I always encourage Christians to read the Tanakh without the New Testament in mind, so that way they can establish a foundation. So by the time they get to the Brit Hadashah, the New Testament, they can really see what is going on, right? If you don't have that cultural understanding from the Tanakh, you're going to miss a lot of the key points that's raised in the Brit Hadashah. Okay. Shout out to Yaakov Ben Yasharala. Shalom, my brother. What's going on? So I wanted to encourage our brothers and sisters to take some time out to go check out the Tanakh and to learn, you know, what's in it. You know, a lot of times look in the New Testament, they say, well, this is new, that's new, and this is new. I'm like, these are not new concepts. Right? Yeshua didn't come to bring any new concepts. There was no new concept he came to bring. Right? All he did was give you his midrash on things. See, when you understand midrash, you understand that's what he was doing. When you read Matthew chapter 5, when he was unpacking what they call the Beatitudes, he was giving midrash. That's what he was doing. You know what I'm saying? That is exactly what he's doing. And then when people say, well, you know what? I don't know where he's quoting exactly from the New Testament. Well, they were Targums, Aramaic Targums that was going around at that time, which are paraphrasings, you know what I'm saying, from the Old Testaments. For those who did not understand the liturgical Hebrew tongue and only understood Aramaic, the Targums was the way to give them the understanding of the Hebrew liturgical text in their Aramaic colloquial tongue. Okay, so the Targums was also in existence at the time. The Septuagint was also being used at that time because a lot of the Judeans were Hellenized. Okay. And mostly you had just really scribes, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the priests. You know, the Levites were really the only ones that knew the liturgical Hebrew that was being read and used in the temple. You know what I'm saying? So the fact that we're able to understand the Hebrew today and look at these manuscripts as well, learn the language, you know what I'm saying, be able to parse things out ourselves and put things in its proper perspective, it gives you an advantage that a lot of those commenters did not have during that period of time. So that now you have the opportunity to truly understand what Yeshua was telling his disciples that they themselves probably did not understand. Okay. And like I tell people all the time, when I speak to my brothers who are Christians, my sisters who are Christians, they're not my enemy. There's nothing that they're doing that's oppressing my livelihood. So they're not my enemy. So I don't come on there with, you know, a grievance up to the point where, oh man, I hate you, I don't like you. And it's not that serious. You cannot truly build or edify if you have bitterness, angst, have some kind of beef or anything. You cannot truly edify. That's why I know me, and there's just a few people that I just won't have a dialogue with because I know I'm working on things myself. And I cannot have a public dialogue with them because it'll lead to something it doesn't need to be. And y'all know how even tempered I try to be. You know what I'm saying? How cool I try to be, you know, how much in unity I try to be as well. You know what I'm saying? I try to do that, but then I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? There's still things that I have against certain people that I'm working on. But for the sake of not having that spoil a dialogue that could be conducive to the growth and edification of those watching, I will refrain from having those dialogues. But then when the trolls come in here, because, you know, trolls are everywhere, I don't mind having a dialogue with trolls. Y'all see the crazy stuff that be coming on here. You know what I'm saying? People are like, well, Divine, why you let that person? Because I want people to see that when you stand on a foundation that you subscribe to as being true, then it does not matter what wave comes your way. You'll be prepared for it. When you have an anchor that has you held down and you're in place, doesn't matter what waves may come. You're not going to move anywhere. And like I tell people all the time, the worst thing that can happen with me in a dialogue is that I learn something. You know what I'm saying? There's no losses for me. It's always a win. You know what I'm saying? I learned something. And that's how you grow. Even with people who some others may not feel deserves an opportunity to speak, you give them an opportunity to speak, right? That's respect. Okay. D. Glenn Royal, that Powerpuff guy from Finland, that was definitely hilarious. I wish I had an opportunity to actually speak to that individual to see where he was coming at with that. But I don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because that same live, I was having issues. You know what I'm saying? Right now, everything is smooth. Everything was cool. I was having issues. And then yesterday, you know, when I was live with Brandon T. Jackson, how many of y'all saw that? Hit one if you saw me and Brandon T. Jackson, you know, having a build. You know what I'm saying? I was having technical issues as well. But right now, everything is fine. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what was going on, man. Those trolls, I'm telling you, man, there's something going on with those trolls. I had to tighten up the security on my my router. You know what I'm saying? Just in case. I had to do an update and everything. So I'm just saying, that's what's going on, my brother. If at any point in time the picture and video quality is not good, family, let me know. All right, let me know, because I'm looking at it now. I think it's locking up a little bit. I think it's breaking up a little bit. It's like ever since I had that dialogue, let that troll on, man, going downhill from there. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on, but y'all let me know. Hopefully, everything is okay. Everything is okay. If it is, let me know. If it's choppy, let me know. Looks like it's choppy a little bit. Is it choppy, y'all? Let me know if it's choppy. Put choppy in the chats if it's choppy. If so, then I'm gonna try to see what I can do to get it working. Let me try here. Let me see. Difference, but let's see. I want to see if this makes a difference. And I'm going to go like this. All right, hold on 1 second. Okay, so y'all let me know if everything is kosher. Let me know if everything is kosher. If everything is working smoothly, let me know. Is everything good? Hit 1 if everything is good. All right, cool. Y'all saying everything is good. All right. So let's continue on. Okay. All right. So all right, cool. All right. So and speaking with I forgot the other brother's that name that was on there. He said he was an Israelite, but he has a Christian theological position that was in line with Elder Michael Holloway on there. We was building. It was just interesting that I wanted to encourage, them to take on that challenge. When people say, well, you can't keep the feast and you can't keep the Sabbath. And I'm like, these are ethnic markers that you do in memorial of the statute, laws, and commandments that the Most High has given the ancestors, that it's perpetual. You know what I'm saying? And it's a way for you to recall the goodness of Yah with his people, because you learn a lot about Yah, through the statute, laws, and commandments. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's extremely important for us to take into account and be able to thrust out there. But like when I was having my discussion with the brother yesterday, my brother Brandon C. Jackson, give him an opportunity to explain his Kingdom Pay platform. And then from there, we started to have a build. I wanted his take on anti-Semitism and, just to see, what he was led to speak. You know what I'm saying? He was having some phone glitches, you know what I'm saying? So next time I'm encouraging him, get on your laptop, you know what I'm saying? Wire into your router and let's get busy, you know what I'm saying? But that's my brother, like I said, I met him 4.5 years ago. We've kicked it off, man. We've been good people since then. I've gotten busy. He gotten busy. You heard him say, he was like, he came looking for me. So I came looking for you, Divine. I'm like, yeah, he did. We got on that conference call. He was like, yo, who's that brother? And he's like trying to get my number and everything like that. I started to build with him. And I'm probably more busier than him. You know what I'm saying? There's times he try to call me and I'm busy. You know what I'm saying? He be texting me and I'll be busy. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's not nothing intentional. I get back to him when I can, but that's a good brother. You know what I'm saying? He's very passionate. And I think he's misunderstood by a lot of people in the Israelite community, and that Israelites in our community are extremely critical of celebrities in the community, extremely critical, to the point where it becomes overbearing, where the celebrities who otherwise would want to subscribe to this, way of life and subscribe to, our position, decides, no, I'm not going to do it, either because there's some kind of stigma attached to the community, which we've been working hard over here at KHM to undermine, they just don't feel the embrace of love. You know what I'm saying? So anytime I've met celebrities since I've been in the truth, and I met several celebrities since I've been in the truth, you know what I'm saying? I just talk to them. I just build with them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you be the book. You understand what I'm saying? It's one thing for you to press people to read the book and say, oh, they're not keeping the statute laws. Then you know what? Then you be the book. So when they meet you, they know the standard. How about you do that? You be the book. Me speaking to my brother Brandon, knowing him from all this time, he sees that I strive to be the book. That brother consistently lost so many contracts, so many endorsements for standing on the truth, and he does his best to be the book. So when these things happen, we should be able to come behind our brothers and sisters, embrace them with love, and correct them behind the scenes. That's how you do it. That's how Yeshua told you how to do it. Go to your brother in private and talk to him about the flaws or faults or issues that you have with him first. If he don't hear you, then you get other people as witnesses. And then if he doesn't hear that, then it goes before the community. But have you tried to reach out in love? There's so many people that try to connect with that brother. They be trying to get $1 from him. I never asked that brother for $1 in my life at all. You know what I'm saying? The brother patronized one of my services before. You know what I'm saying? But I never asked a brother for $10 in my life. I never said, yo, Brandon, man, I want to hang out with you, man. Let's go do this. Let's go do that. I want to get my name. No, I want to do this. Like, that's not how I get down. You know why? Because I don't get starstruck. In my entire life, I've met dozens of celebrities in my life. And I've always been a true person where when I see them, they regular people to me. You know what I'm saying? They got resources, they got access, and that's good. But if you can't build a relationship with that person, then all that stuff don't mean nothing. You feel what I'm saying? So that's why I'm very protective of him when people try to get at him or do stuff. You'll see, you know, I respond to stuff. I'm there to have his back because that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? Good, bad, ugly, and different. We'll hash it out behind closed doors, but that's my brother. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just grateful that he took time out of his busy schedule, you know, to chat on my platform. And I told him he's always welcome and I'm going to have him back. And any other celebrities. Now, again, I know several celebrities I told y'all that reached out to me. If y'all are watching this, if y'all are ready to come and have a build on this platform, it is open to you. You know what I'm saying? It is open. Okay. And this will be an opportunity for you to, you know, voice your position to the world. And if you need help, I'm here to help. I told Brandon, I'm saying, look, you know, I'm going to help you, you know, present yourself and what you're trying to offer to the community. Because I'm here to provide that ministry of help. So I'm here to serve. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I realize some people are rough around the edges, you know, and then you see somebody come around and just say, hey, you know, hey, come here for a second. Come back here. Let me trim this up. You fix their crown behind closed doors. You don't say, oh, it's crooked in public. You fix it behind closed doors. If we are royal priesthood, if we are chosen generation, right? If this is the thing that we're supposed to exemplify so the world can see the light of the Most High, then we have to know how to deal with our brothers and sisters. It's that simple. Even those who disagree with us, right? Because that's how people are able to discern what spirit you're coming in. All right. Shout out to my brother Gartrell for the donation. I appreciate that, my brother. Thank you so much. And I'm glad you enjoy the build. You are here all the time, Gartrell, and you always support my brother. I appreciate that. My brother Batakya Sakara in the building. What's going on, King? What's going on? All right. My sister Nisi's Pieces. What's going on? Deborah Newsome. What's up? What's up? Uh-oh, Dennis O. What's going on, man? So Dennis, oh, great question, man. Great question. Shout out to DB in the building. What's going on, my brother DB? All right. 12 Pearls. What's going on? What's going on? Tracy H. What's up? What's up? R. Dale for Hope. What's going on, my brother? What's going on? Moray Shama Talmid Yahoo in the building, man. What's going on? Child of Yah. Shalom, shalom. Ter Lael, what's going on? What's going on? All right. Want to give everybody their props, everybody their shout outs, because you guys are the VIP here in the building. Shout out to y'all over money. Katiel Ben Yisrael. What's going on, family? I'm glad we got time to build tonight. This is Saturday night. I know most of y'all ain't got church tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? But the ones that do, they probably going to drop off soon as we continue to build because they got to go wake up for Sunday worship in the morning. All right. So anyway, with that being said, shout out to Malik Shalom in the building. What's going on? What's going on? All right, fam. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit subscribe if you're brand new. Make sure you share this video, family, so we can go in. All right. So this is what we're going to do first. All right, Dennis O, let me see if I can tackle that question for you. Let me put it on the screen. You said, I have always wanted to ask you this, Divine, based on your research. What is the oldest documented name of Christ? Is it Jesus or something else? So according to academia, the earliest name that he would have had would have been Yeshua Bar Yosef. Yeshua is Aramaic of Yehoshua, or shortened form of Yehoshua, but is the Aramaic of Yehoshua, you know, because of the suffix, you know, that you have at the end, the ayin suffix, which helps to denotate identifying it as far as being Aramaic and the way that it's pronounced. Bar is also Aramaic for son as opposed to Bing. And then you have Yosef, which is the name of his father. So it would be Yeshua Bar Yosef. And the reason why that's what he would have been called, because in first century Palestine, the commoners who were Judeans, they would have spoken Aramaic. Okay. So that's what he would have been called, Yeshua Bar Yosef. That's what I call him because that is historically accurate. Okay. So that's probably the best that you're going to get. And that's what almost all scholars agree, that his name would have been Yeshua Bar Yosef. Okay. All right. So hopefully that answers your question. Thank you for your question, my brother. I appreciate that. All right. All right. All right. Shout out to Sister Kanisha Morgan in the building. What's going on, sis? Make sure you hit the thumbs up, share this video, wake your pastor up, or if your pastor's a family member or an elder or whatever, bring them up in here, family. Bring them on up in here so we can have a dialogue. Let them know they're always welcome to come on this platform and have an open panel discussion if they disagree with anything that I say, or if they want to give something constructive to help build the family. All right. So one thing that I had in my mind that I want to discuss is the last lecture that I did. Right. So I did it on Sonata's platform on Thursday, and then I premiered it on Saturday, right, which was yesterday, because right now we're going into Sunday, right? All right, let me answer this question first. Kanisha Morgan said, where does Yahweh Shai come from? So Yahweh Shai is part of Lashawan Kadash, and Lashawan Kadash was made or popularized in the Israelite community, our Israelite community, back in 1960s, 1969 with One West, where they were playing around and trying to discern what the original tongue was, right? So Lashawan means tongue, or Lashon in Hebrew, and Kodesh means set apart, or Kadash is what they say in Lashawan Kadash. It's supposed to be set apart tongue, right? And they say in the set apart tongue, what was the original set apart tongue? And it came on the fact that, you know, the original tongue would have sounded something, you know, acute to what you hear babies when babies speak. They have a lot of A's or I's in baby speech. And so therefore, what they do is that they take every character and they add a class vowel, with the exception of ayin. And ayin, they add a I, okay, which is interesting. But, you know, there is nothing attested in academia that substantiates that is the earliest tongue. And the reason why is because you have diphthongs, and you have to understand what a diphthong is, and that existed in Semitic languages. And there's no accounting for it in Lashon Kodesh. You got to be able to account for it. You got to understand what Semitic languages are, features of Semitic languages. I have some great books on it if anybody's interested on that. Matter of fact, I put a book on the Patreon. Remember, the after party goes down 24/7, 365 on our Patreon, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect, and that link is in the description below. And I put a book on there that went into vocalizations, right? The Tiberian vocalization, Babylonian vocalization, etc. And then it goes into inscriptional Hebrew, etc. It just goes through the gamut in regards to the language. And then I have a book that deals with it's called Comparative Linguistic Study, and what it does is look at all the Semitic languages and looks for common features and things of that nature. So the problem with Lashawan Kadash is that it doesn't account for verb conjugation, right? So when you learn biblical Hebrew, you learn what verb conjugations are, right? And there's several verb stems. And the difficulty with Lashawan Kodash, and I'm not saying that you cannot make out verbs, right? But you need the help of biblical Hebrew in order for Lashawan Kodash to work, right? And you have to be able to read it grammatically, right? Not read it from remembrance or read it because you understand an English translation and you're saying, okay, this means this in English. But there's tons of different things that are met that you miss. For example, right? When you're reading Lashawan Kadash, sometimes it's difficult in order for you to understand, let me see, adjectives. How do you know what is an adjective in Lashawan Kadash, right? How do you identify adjectives? How do you identify adverbs, right? How do you identify some prepositions that are prefixed to words, right? How do you understand third person masculine singular looking at suffixes, okay? You know, how are you able to determine these things? Like, for example, the word for man is ish and nashim is men plural. The word for woman is isha and it's ishet, which is plural, right? But again, the diacritic marks help you to identify such as a plural possessive, right? And I give you an example of a plural possessive. And this bugs people out all the time. When you go to Bereshit chapter 2 and verse 24, it says something very unique there. And I bring this out a lot. And I'm going to show you guys in 1 second so you guys can see what I'm talking about. And it's only when you understand the language that you can correct English translations, right? So again, Yahweh Shai is applying Lashwa Kodash onto Yeshua, right? And the argument for it is that, hey, there were no vowel markings or vowel pointings, in the original text. So what we have there is something that somebody added. Well, what we have in biblical Hebrew is called the Tiberian vocalization system. And this was a vocalization system that was used to preserve the vocalization that was used in Tiberias at the time by the Masoretes, right? However, there's other diacritic marks that are there, such as cantillation marks that gives you tone, so that way you can say it like you're singing a song and so forth, right? There's separators, and there's other features in it as well that have nothing to do with the vocalization, right? But it's something that was also preserved, through that text type or that text family, text family group of manuscripts, right? Which would be your majority text type, right? Your majority text type in regards to the Old Testament, right? So learning the biblical language and then going back, and if you're going to learn the language, prior to that, there's other features that you can look into the language, called the Matir Lecciones, right? And that's a way where when you're reading inscriptional Hebrew, right, that was contemporary to the Iron Age period, you find an inscription like the Shalom inscription, right? Or you're reading, things on Astrakhan, such as the Lachish letters or the Telerad letters or something like that. And you're reading it, it's written where you have what's called Matir Lecciones, right? And then the areas that you see that's Matir Lecciones, Matir meaning mother, right? Mother language or mother tongue, right? Or mother pronunciation, vocalization, right? And when you look at it to see how it's written there, you have I, U, and A, right? And then you also have consonants that are written because there's no vowel consonants, right? It's called an abjad. Abjad is all the characters that make up the alphabet of that particular language. In their abjad, they don't have any vowels, right? So what happens is certain consonants take place as vowels. We see the same thing in English, like with the letter Y, right? The letter Y can be a consonant or it could be a vowel, depending upon how it's used in a particular word, right? So what they would do is that they will put like a yod, or they will put like a wav, and these things would be in place for a vowel, right? So I'll give you an example. So if you look at, let's say Moshe, in biblical Hebrew, you have something called defective writing. Defective writing is if I write something in Matir Lecciones. I wish I had my board. This one over here, I gotta get a new board. But so if you're looking at Moshe and it's written with your mem and it's written with your she, right? And then you have your final letter. Well, actually, maybe I can show you on the screen. Hold on. Let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So y'all can see what I am talking about. And again, if anybody is interested, remember I have references and resources for this. If you're already on Patreon, you're already getting access to the library that has all of this. But if you're not, you can email me and I can send it to you, or you can sign up for the Patreon and get access to all these resources I'm referring to. But when you look at Moshe, let me see if I can put this here. Let me see if I could put it here on the screen in a document. Maybe y'all can see it and I can blow it up. So you can see what I'm talking about. And then after this, I'm gonna try to build on what I want to talk about. And then if you have any other questions, I'll take your questions, right? This is Moshe without the diacritic. I'm gonna do Moshe with the diacritic. All right, give me 1 second. Let me grab this. Where's Moshe? Here it is. Moshe with the diacritic. All right. I want to show y'all something real quick. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to give it to you with the Paleo Hebrew, right? So I'm going to give you the Aramaic block script. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. There we go. And then I have the Paleo Hebrew font. I got Ugaritic font too, which I love. I start writing things out to show you guys the shoresh of certain words, the roots of certain words, and the affinities to the other West Semitic language of Ugaritic, right? But let me go to my Paleo Hebrew. Let me see if I can remember. Paleo. There we go. My Paleo Hebrew. And let me type in Moshe. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, you gotta type it backwards. Oh, it's L right there. Let me see. They're not giving me my shin. All right. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me show y'all something. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna hook y'all up. Let me bring out my bag. Shout out to Willie Lightjohn. Thank you so much. So he says my sister is a Hebrew Israelite. She only reads from a sefer. I don't get it. I guess I can go in that as well for y'all. So let me go there for you. Hold on real quick. Hold on. Because now you're getting real technical. And you know, I love being technical, but I'm trying to do something at the same time. Let me go on my bag. I'm gonna bring out the Dead Sea Scrolls transcriptions that I got. And let me see if I can get this done. So that way I can show you what I'm talking about as far as Mate Lecciones and defective writing. What is going on? All right, hold on, y'all. Hold on. I can't see what y'all writing, so just give me a second. Okay, let me do this then. Oh man. All right, well, I won't be able to grab that now. It's giving me some issues right now. Okay, anyway, I can still show it to y'all without what I was trying to do. Let me just do it like this, and I could just show y'all. All right, let me share my screen. Exactly. So shout out to my brother Morey Shema Talmiyahu. And that's why you can read it without the diacritic marks. So when you start to get well versed in the Hebrew, you can start reading it without diacritic marks because you understand how certain sounds are made by looking how the syntax of consonants are placed side by side, right? Let me just show this. Let me share my screen real quick. Where is it at? Here we go. All right, let's do it like this. There we go. All right. Come on, scream, what's going on? Okay, let's try that again. There we go. All right. Whew. All right. So if you look here on my screen, you will see. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom out some more. Okay. All right, there we go. All right. So if you look here on my screen, this is your Moshe. This is your Mem, your Shin, and your Hey. And at the top, you have it with the diacritic marks, right? And then below, you have it without the diacritic marks, right? So one of the things that you will have an issue with in Lashawan Kadash is being able to see what sound does the sheen make. Does it make a sin sound or a sheen sound, right? And without the diacritic marks, it's difficult to tell which one of those sounds that you get, because if you look at the diacritic marks, you'll see the diacritic mark right above this little dot. Let me show it to y'all. Let me go to pointer. This dot right above the sheen tells you it's the sheen sound, and then you have a dot right over here that give you the sin sound. And here you have your cholam, right, which is your oh sound, and here you have your eh sound, right? You have your kametz and your patach. Your patach gives you your short ah, your kametz will give you a longer ah. Then you have your segol and your zere, right? Your zere is right here. This is a short eh, moshe, right? But down here, you don't have any diacritic marks. And how would you know how this is pronounced? Now, defective writing means the reason why you have this cholam that is over the mem is because if you look in the Dead Sea Scrolls and other manuscripts that may have Paleo-Hebrew, right? You'll see that mostly in the Dead Sea Scrolls because there's Paleo-Hebrew versions of the Torah in there. You'll see the wav here. So defective writing means at one point there was a matir lectiones spelling of the word, but the wav with the cholam or the dot over it has been removed and has been shortened and has been replaced by the cholam going over the mem. Okay? So difficulties that you have in Lashawan Kodash is if I was to see this, right, and pronounce it in Lashawan Kodesh, how do I know if this is a verb or if this is a noun? Because masha, the root cow stem, means to draw something, right? But when you turn that into a verbal noun, proper verbal noun, Moshe, it means he who was drawn, right? So now you're turning it into a proper noun from the root verb, okay? And it's plain cow stem. Well, how do you know what's what? And the problem with that is that you would have to know the English to be able to determine the grammar of what you're reading in the Hebrew, and that's not how you learn the language. You understand what I'm saying? That's not how you learn the language. So Zadaka says that sounds German. What sounds German? What I just said? That sound German, right? Now, when you get words like Bach in German, you have the ch sound. There are some things that are pronounced like that, but it's not just in German. There's other languages that have the glottal ch sound, right? Because there's glottal stops in a lot of languages. English even has glottal stops. They even have fragmental sounds and so forth. So you have these things in plenty of languages, but that is not Hebrew. I mean, that is not German at all. You know what I'm saying? That's not German. So I don't know if anybody on here, because, you know, sometimes people say, oh, that's Yiddish. That's not Yiddish. Yiddish is a German dialect that uses Hebrew characters to write out the German. If you was to write Yiddish out using Hebrew characters and give it to somebody that speaks Hebrew and they was to read that, they will not understand what the heck that is. They'll be able to identify the characters, but they'll be looking at this like, this is not Hebrew. What is this? If you give it to a Yiddish person that does not speak Hebrew and you give them biblical Hebrew and you give it to them and they read it, those characters and stuff that they use in Yiddish, but they're not going to know what that means. Morphology is important. Morphology is how the thing looks. Syntax is when you put things together to make a congruent sentence. These are all features of language. And then pronunciation, you know, is the way that when you see it, you know how to say it so it can be understood. Because some words sound similar, right? Until maybe even in English, until you write it down. Those are things that's called homophones. You know, they sound similar, but they're different words. They have similar sounds, but they're different words, right? And there's even words that are similar in different languages, right? So all I'm saying is I encourage our people to learn the language, because when you learn the language, it will uncover a lot of things that has had you stuck reading the English translation. It resolves a lot of issues just reading the English, right? And if anybody's interested in learning the biblical Hebrew, let me know and I can help you all out. Or you see my brother Morey Shama Talmiyahu, he's in a group Well, that's all they talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like I learned, I'm still brushing up on my Hebrew, you know what I'm saying, as time goes by, you know what I'm saying? I make sure I stay sharp with my biblical Hebrew, but those brothers are monsters in it with it. You know what I'm saying? They're monsters with it. Me, I'm good with analyzing it. I can look at it, I can parse it out, and I can figure out all the components of the grammar, put it back together, and give you a better translation, right? But if you're saying to make that conversational, I know a little bit of it, and I'm not that well versed there yet to make it fully conversational. That's what I'm working on, right? But I can look at it, I can read it, I can break it down, I can parse it, and I can analyze it, and I can interpret it for you. Once I properly translate it, and I can let you know, man, you have a good translation of that. Oh no, that's a bad translation. When we get to Bereshit chapter 2, let me show you what I mean, and then I'm gonna try to get to the point that I was trying to make earlier, but I'm here to answer as many questions as I can as well. I probably can't answer everything, but so I'm going to show you this, something that's extremely interesting, okay? If you go to Genesis chapter 2, verse 24, let me get it real quick. Genesis 2, 24. All right. A lot of y'all would typically read this. I'm going to show it to you on the screen. Let me share the screen real quick. Let me share the screen. No, we don't want that. Okay, I don't know. This thing is weird. It's weird. All right. Let me show this to y'all. All right. So Bereshit or Genesis chapter 2, verse 24 says, therefore shall a man leave his mother, his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. Right? Now, one thing that should stand out to anybody that understands the language is looking at a possessive plural. Okay, possessive plurals are extremely important because possessive plurals will let you understand what is going on when you're reading something. Now, if I was to show this right here, if we was dealing with purely biblical Hebrew grammar, anybody looking at this, you tell me what is distinct. I just said it's a plural possessive. When you look at this, tell me what is distinct about what it is that we have on the screen. Anybody in the chat can tell me. I don't know why it doesn't look clear on the screen. I don't know what's going on, man. Shout out to Dennis O for the donation. I appreciate that, my brother. Thank you so much. All right, let's get back here. So anybody, let me know what is distinct about what we're looking at right here. If we were just going on plain biblical Hebrew understanding, grammar rules are important, okay? Remember I told you earlier how to say man singular, man plural, woman singular, woman plural, okay? And again, I hate switching over to Firefox because it doesn't share like I would like it to share. Plural. So I have to see it on my phone to see what y'all saying. All right. So when you look here, somebody tell me in the chat what it is that we're looking at that's highlighted right here. Be-isheto. So you have an interesting feature here, this ishet. Then you have here your inseparable preposition, right? Your be, right? With the dagesh in the middle and your shewa underneath. You have your wav, holam here as the suffix. And then you have your root word here, your ishet. Ish-it. So somebody tell me, oh, I lost connection on my phone. I don't know what's going on. Let me try that again. There we go. All right, somebody tell me what it is that we're looking for here. Somebody said his wife. Is that what it says in Hebrew? Is that what it says in Hebrew? Somebody tell me what that says right there. Anybody? More Shama, I don't want you to chime in yet. I just want somebody to tell me in the chat, what are we looking at here? All right? Anybody? I'm going to give you a second. You'll let me know. If not, then I'll let my brother Shema say his piece on it, and then I'll build from there. Anybody can tell me what is distinct about what we're seeing right here? What are we seeing right here in Hebrew? Anybody? Anybody? Somebody says the woman. No, this doesn't say the woman because there's no definite article, which would be your hey prefix. But yes, the third person masculine possessive suffix is there, which is your final wav, or your not final wav, but your wav with the cholam on it, right? And then your inseparable preposition, your beit here, which means with, or it could be at, or it could be to. Sometimes we have lamed, which is another inseparable preposition that could be prefixed as well, right? Somebody says with her man. All right, so my brother Shema that's looking at it, if you was to see this word right here, what would you say this word means in Hebrew? What does this word here mean in Hebrew? And I'm asking my brother Shema in here, because there's another brother I know who knows the Hebrew as well. So my brother Shema, what are we looking at right there? Tell me. And we're using biblical Hebrew grammar to decipher this. Waiting on you, Moreh Shema. And then I'm going to move forward. You there, Moreh? I don't know what happened to Moreh Shema. Moreh Shema, you there, Aki? So, if I was to say, look at Ishet. Is Ishet singular or plural? We have Abe Ish Sheto We Chau Le Bashar Echad. What is this right here? Anybody? Clarence Walsh said plural. Is that plural, family? Katriel Ben Yisrael said plural. Just Call Me Text said it's plural. Is that plural? Is Ishet plural? Deroyahu Ben Dora says singular construct form. Well, your construct form is where you get your plural possessive. So Ishet, my brother Deroyahu, another brother that knows the Hebrew. So my brother Deroyahu. Oh, you have to speak verbally? Okay. Well, just asking. You want me to bring you on, Shema? Let me know if you want me to bring you on. Deroyahu, you want me to bring you on? You want to chime in on this real quick? We have a little discussion in Hebrew. Let me know. Okay. But all I'm saying to you guys is context is important, grammar is important, right? And also syntax is important, all right, when it comes to reading Hebrew. Okay. A lot of times, if you learn the language, you can correct translations. And sometimes you can look at lexicons and say, wow, that's kind of dated. You know what I'm saying? And a reason for that is, like, for example, a lot of people use the Gesenius Hebrew Chaldean lexicon. A lot of people use the Brown Driver Briggs simply because these are things that are in the public domain, right? They no longer hold a copyright. They're in the public domain. So this is why you'll see them on websites like Blue Letter Bible, BibleHub.com, etc., like that. But these are older. These are really old lexicons. And since then, the Dead Sea Scrolls have been discovered. Since then, more inscriptional Hebrew has been discovered, right? Since then, guess what? At Rosh Shamra, what did they discover? The Ugaritic tablets, right? So all of these things have been found and discovered since the laying down of the Gesenius, which the BDB is derived from, right? Where we have more data in regards to language, right? Either within the same language family or a sister language, which is West Semitic, that gives us more understanding of the semantic range of particular words. Okay? I don't know why I keep losing this. This is crazy. All right? Anybody? Oh, my brother Renzo's in the building. That's another brother that is good with the language. All right, so I'm gonna hold this right there. The point I'm trying to make is that how do we know how to interpret this within its context looking at the diacritic marks. If I was to say this in Lashwa Kodash, it would be what? Ba'ashatawa. Somebody correct me on that if I'm wrong. Would that be? It would be Ba'ashatawa. Can you understand any grammar from Ba'ashatawa? I think that's how it's said. The Royahu, that's my go-to as well. The Dictionary of Classical Hebrew. Yes, sir. I've been bringing that out for the longest. That, the Hebrew and Aramaic lexicon of the Old Testament, which is an oldie but goodie, and that's much later than the Gesenius and the BDB. Okay, and then we have the DBL, Database of Biblical Languages, or the Domain of Biblical Languages, which is one of the ones that I use as well also. Okay, so Ba'ashatawa. Nah, they will add or Thawa. Yeah, they will say Thawa, right? Ba'ashathawa. Is that how they would say it in Lash Pradesh? How do you know what the preposition is? How do you know what the possessive, masculine, singular is as a suffix? How do you know how to break down whether you're talking about a suffix or you're talking about a prefix? Or how do you know what the root is of a word? You don't understand any of that when you're speaking Lashwan Kodash, right? It gets lost in the sauce. It doesn't make any sense if you pronounce it that way. So this is why we're saying I have difficulties with the Lashawan Kadash. There's brothers I know that use it. My brother, shout out to my brother, Pastor Kelly Richardson, who I know is really dope with the Lashawan Kadash, and some of my brothers in the camps. But when we come down to actually looking at the grammar, right, this causes some moments, that I have to ask them. And you'll see that they will have to revert back to the English to try and make sense of what they're reading there. And I'm like, well, if you read English, you're going to have some issues, right? So if you see this word here in English, wife, do you see wife by itself anywhere here? No. It has a prefix and it has a suffix. And here it is right here in the root. Okay? So this is why I say it's good to learn biblical Hebrew, or they call classical Hebrew. Mishnaic Hebrew is also good to learn Mishnaic Hebrew, because I also read the Mishnah, or I do my best to read the Mishnah, right? It's also good to learn inscriptional Hebrew. Okay, because when you learn biblical Hebrew and inscriptional Hebrew, then you can read through the Dead Sea Scrolls that have both the Aramaic square script, and it also has your Paleo Hebrew script that's there as well. All right. So let me move off of that. Let me move forward. But I encourage my brothers and my sisters, please, let's get into this language, because it's extremely important. It's your heritage as well as your culture, and you should not neglect it. All right. Facts. They sadly believe that classical Hebrew is somehow too Jewish. Is it because the Jews utilize it? Because remember, there's more than one vocalization. Matter of fact, let me show you guys the book. Let me show you guys this book here. Maybe this will help. All right, let me show you guys this book. You guys have to get this book. If you want to learn about the Hebrew language, you got to get this book. Let me bring it up here. Okay, this book right here. Access, if you Patreon, you get access to this at no charge, right? Otherwise, I can email it to you, or you may have to purchase it for yourself. Okay. Let me show you this. Let me pull it from out of my bag. That's what I call it. I call it my bag. Let me go in my bag real quick, man. Let me go in my bag. Yeah, there we go. Let's go in this bag real quick. Oh, man. Really? How to do verification. Man, I got a lot of two-way authentication on all my accounts, man. Anyway, so let me go ahead and pull this book out. There we go. And let me bring up this book that I love it. I always go back to it. And I encourage y'all to get this book, right? Where is it at? 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 Where is the book at? Hold on, y'all. Give me a second. Where is it at? Did I not upload it here? Oh, here it is. I found it. All right. Let me open this up for y'all. Give me a second. Again, I got to look on my phone to see what y'all saying. There we go. All right. So I think I can stream. I can share this. Let me share this real quick. Okay, let's open it up like this. Let's do this. Let's do this. Where is it at? Here it is. All right. I'm sorry, y'all. This is I hate using Firefox, man. It's annoying. Why is this not opening? Okay, here we go. Can I share it on there? There we go. All right. All right. Finally, let me share it. Oh, man. All right. Anyway, so this is volume 1. I also have volume 2, and I'll probably load that on the Patreon soon as well. But anyway, here in volume 1, there are some interesting things here that you want to look at. So let's go through what it shows here. So number 1, it gives you phases of biblical Hebrew, right? It gives you standard classical biblical Hebrew, archaic biblical Hebrew, transitional biblical Hebrew, and late biblical Hebrew, right? It goes into epigraphic Hebrew, Ben Sira Hebrew, the Hebrew of the Dead Sea Scrolls. It goes into part 3, ancient and medieval reading tradition, Hebrew and Greek and Latin transcription, Samaritan tradition, Babylonian tradition, Karaite transcriptions of biblical Hebrew, Palestinian traditions, and Tiberian Palestinian tradition. The Tiberian vocalization system is a preserved tradition of the Tiberian system. Then it had the Tiberian tradition of reading the Bible and the Masoretic system, and the contribution of Tanaic Hebrew to understanding biblical Hebrew, which is great, because if you don't know, now this is a time period, right? And a lot of times they put like phases of the Talmud's composition based on like the Tanaitic period and so forth, right? But this right here is important, because if you don't understand the Hebrew contemporary to that time period, then a lot what you read in certain traditions that finds its way in manuscripts is not going to make any sense to you, right? Then it says the modern reading traditions of biblical Hebrew, which I thought was very interesting. But what I want people to look at is epigraphic Hebrew. This right here, I love, and the Hebrew of the Dead Sea Scrolls. Because now the question would be, if people are speaking Lashwa Kodesh, right? If we're going to epigraphic Hebrew, and I was to show them, right, a relief and say, okay, you know, I know you're going to pronunciate it in Lashwa Kodesh, but can you explain to me what it says? What is it saying? When you learn biblical Hebrew, you can start to make it out. Oh, yeah, I can see this is here. This feature is prefix is there. The suffix is here. I can see this. Okay, this word here. I know this is using the root here. Okay, I see here that has Mate Lectionis here. You know, if it let's say it said Moshe there, you would probably see that there. So, okay, I know that says Moshe. I know this is the suffix, right? So I know this is his. You know, when I see the Wav there, okay, you start to make things out. But when you give it to somebody that speaks Lashon Kodash and say, okay, can you explain to me what this says? They're going to have difficulty. At least if you know some classical biblical Hebrew, you can begin to read epigraphic Hebrew or inscriptional Hebrew, okay? And there are some words that's in inscriptional Hebrew that we don't find in the literature, right? So this is why I encourage our community to not only learn the language, but also learn these type of things, read these supplements as well, that helps you to get more understanding. These are all scholars in biblical Hebrew and ancient Near Eastern languages, okay? So he said, what's the name of that book? The name of this book is called A Handbook of Biblical Hebrew, Volume 1, Periods, Corpora, and Reading Traditions. All right, that's it right here. All right. All right, so let me move forward, family. Can I move forward? Are y'all all right with me moving forward? Let me move forward on the language. I love the language, but there's something else I want to talk about, and I think I've seen some other questions on there. Thank you, my sister Nixie's Pieces, for putting in the Patreon link as well as the email address. All right. Yes, you're absolutely correct, Dora Yahu Ben Dora. You're absolutely correct, my brother. All right. So let's get into this last lecture, and then if you have any other questions, I'll be able to answer. If y'all are asking questions about the Hebrew, like Zadaka, my brother Morey Shema and my brother Dora Yahu will be able to assist you in the chat with the Hebrew, because those brothers know the Hebrew as well. All right, and I trust them in representing what I would say to somebody asking questions about Hebrew. All right. Torio, TMH, yes, they did. Because remember, there are songs in Torah, right? We said the song of Miriam, the song of Moshe, right? Which would be your song by the sea. These are actual songs. And these are things that they would have sung. This is why you have the cantillation marks there, which indicate, different tone variations to utilize as if you're singing a song. Same like when you hear the, when you hear the Quran, right? When the Quran is being spoken, sometimes you hear it seems like it's being sung. Well, that feature is also in the Hebrew, right? So Willie Littlejohn, you can definitely email him about the Sefer. The Sefer, it also subscribes to the Aleph Tav doctrine, which I don't subscribe to. The Aleph Tav is called the direct object marker. It does not have a direct correlation in English, because English doesn't need that the way Hebrew needs it or uses it. But it does not mean the Alpha and Omega, or the beginning and the end, or that's Jesus. You know what I'm saying? Like the Sefer, I think, subscribes to that doctrine. However, the Sefer does try to get you to learn names and places in Hebrew, right? Which I definitely subscribe to. All right. Facts. Moray Tayo, they use the Latin script, right? Latin script. We have a variation of the Latin script that we utilize for English, Spanish, Italian, etc. Okay. All right. So let's move forward. Okay. So I did a lecture, like I said, on Thursday on Sonata TV, and I premiered it on my YouTube channel after I gave 48 hours of early access to Patreon. And I think that lecture, not a lot of people, but some people misconstrued what was the point of that lecture. Now, I'm going to speak on this. This is important, right? Because what I need you guys to understand, that I deal with, I'm fighting on so many fronts, right? It's not like, you have one person focused on one thing fighting in this area. Like I'm fighting on a multitude of plethora of fronts, right? So dealing with the conscious community that is, adversarial towards our position, dealing with Christian apologists, dealing with Black Muslims, if that's what they want to call themselves. Sometimes they call them Black Muslims. I don't know. That's what they call themselves. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with some Moorish brothers and sisters, dealing with the Israelite community, dealing with brothers that only subscribe to the Tanakh, and brothers that subscribe to the Tanakh and Brit Hadashah. So I'm dealing with various groups and atheists. I deal with atheists as well from time to time. You understand what I'm saying? And people that deal with West African spirituality, people in the Kemetic community. So I'm constantly speaking to people in all of these communities. So what I'm simply saying is, this is not an easy thing to do, right? If anybody wants to do this better than me, let me know. I have no problem with you assisting, or if you want to take over, hey, if you can do it better than me, you know what I'm saying? But what I'm simply saying is, because I have to deal with the barrage of attacks from all of these communities, we're talking about internally and externally, sometimes it interrupts my focal research on one thing, because something else will come up here, and I'm extremely active in responding to things, right? Because it's not that's not what this ministry was established for, right? Apologetics. But I felt that there's a lack of that in our community. So, somebody got to get their hands dirty and do it. So when I do this lecture, now I'm thinking, I'm always thinking the worst. I'm thinking, okay, everybody's going to critique it. They're going to criticize it. Cool. I do this lecture, and what I'm extremely surprised by is some of the brothers in the community that I thought would get it. I do listen to what I'm saying. Let me bring this up, right? Maybe I should share it on the screen so y'all can see what I'm talking about. Let me see if I have, where is it at? Is it on my desktop? Do I still have it here? Here it is. All right, I'm gonna bring it up on the screen real quick, man. This is crazy, man. All right, and I want to talk about this real quick. I'm gonna get this out the way. All right, let me share it so y'all can see it. All right, now look, okay. This is the lecture. If anybody here has not seen it, I encourage you to go and check it out. All right, because I believe it is extremely important. Okay. Thank you so much, my brother. My brother Dara Yahoo said that the lecture was very, very important and dope. Much needed to hear. I learned a lot from that lecture today. If you have not watched it yet, go do so and take notes. I gotta watch it again, right? Facts, Torio. That's why some people watch it. Some people watch it just to watch me bang on, or defend against other communities, and that's fine. Some people will look at it for the reconstructive and restorative, cultural element. Some people look at it when I go into the text. Some people look at it for when I do the health segment. Some people look at it when I talk about whatever, right? But the point I'm trying to make is my job here as the founder, the chief leader and overseer of KHM is to set an example, right? I understand that we come against a barrage of attacks from the media in regards to the Israelite community, and that we have issues, right? Because we all are imperfect people, right? Trying to live a perfect lifestyle, and that's extremely difficult. I have my flaws, I have my errors, right? And I'm the first one to tell you that I have issues, I have flaws, I'm not perfect, right? But what I'm simply saying is, even if you're imperfect, you still have an obligation to teach that which is perfect. You still must exemplify a model of perfection, or the standard or the template in which you must measure up to and others must measure up to. Do not feel like, okay, I have mistakes and flaws and issues, that you cannot speak the truth. Still speak the truth, even if it cuts you. That's fine. I saw that in our community, there's an influx of male chauvinism. And again, the root word chauvinism has to do with an extreme patriotic subscription to one's nationality. So sometimes people can say Israelites themselves are chauvinists, right? If we use the word in its denotative capacity, right? But the connotative capacity, where the male element got added, is when the feminist movement came about, right? Because remember, the feminist movement was birthed from the residue of the women's suffrage movement, okay? We have a situation where there are brothers in our community that have adopted the ways of their oppressors and don't even realize it. So when brothers get mad at me because I try to teach people about reconstructive, restorative culture, how do you reconstruct the culture? You must use a methodology that removes your presuppositions. Your presuppositions are the things that you believe to be true, that you have not questioned. Remove that out the way and reconstruct the culture from the ground up, inductively, from the ground up. And in order to do that, you must have good research methodology so that you can objectively reconstruct what it is you're seeking for. And then once you get it reconstructed, now you have an obligation either to abide by it or reject it for whatever reason. What I simply did was I provided textual data, archaeological data, and what I'm simply saying is, if we go to reconstruct the actual culture, there's no room for misogyny and there's no room for male chauvinism. Now, you have people in the conscious community that defer from what it is I taught. If you go and watch it, your brother's already coming up and say, hey, well, what about Deuteronomy chapter 22 when you go and you stone a virgin, and that's a form of misogyny. Okay, so it's crazy. I was trying to hold off. But what I'm going to show y'all is that, and this is crazy because I don't even know if Jabari knows this stuff. I try to tell Jabari, look, brother Jabari, I'm part of the American Research Center in Egypt. I've been to several of their conferences. I spoke and have pictures of Egyptologists, right? I have their books and their papers and I read their stuff. You know what I'm saying? I get primaries. I strive to learn the Metrinetia because I know a little bit of it and apply it to the primary so I can do the same thing that I do with biblical Hebrew. The point I'm trying to make is that when adultery is committed in ancient Kemet, we have evidences of women's bodies being dismembered because of adultery. The woman dismembered because of adultery. But when you get into Israelite culture and you're reading Deborah chapter 22, where it says that if a woman who's betrothed to a man, the man goes into the woman, he finds that the woman, an unclean thing in her, right? Because the tokens, of her virginity is laid out and no blood is spilled. I mean, her hymen is not broken, etc. And he goes and brings a bad word about her to the parents. They ought to take her to the elders or to the gates and stone her, right? Because she played a whore in her father's house. What people don't understand is that this woman has been pledged to be married. Watch this. If the ancient present Israelite culture was misogynistic, when Abraham spoke to a servant and said, look, I want you to find a wife for my son Isaac. He sent them to go find a wife for his son Isaac, right? And he prayed to the Most High and said, look, if I come across a woman, shout out to my family that donated. Thank you, my sister Millie Love, for the donation. My sister E for the donation. I appreciate my sisters supporting me. I love those sisters right there, man. They always support. I'm not talking about financially. I mean, they always support the ministry. And I appreciate them. And everybody else that's in there, day ones. My sister Nisi's PC, Sky Village is in here as well. But listen to this. It's just crazy how much backlash I got from men. I knew this was going to happen, right? But it's two types of backlashes. I'm going to tell you this. It's crazy. If you have not watched this, I encourage you, go back and watch. I think this might be one of the most controversial lectures in our community. And it wasn't even intended to be controversial. It's just crazy. When I talked about equality by way of equity, it's like that went over people's head. And I did my best to break it down. Equality by way of equity. If you don't understand that, you missed the entire lecture. I don't even know why you're watching it, right? But let me break down what I'm trying to say. If a woman, now mind you, Israel was a culture where they did not promote promiscuity like you have in American culture. American culture, hey, young girls, you teens, you can go out there and get laid and have a baby at the age 12, 13, 14, and it's okay. Israelite culture, they didn't play that, right? Because if a young woman is a virgin and she's being pledged to be married, that man is paying the bride price or a dowry, and he's doing that to give that to the father, because that young maiden that's in his household, right, that Bethula, right, that's in his household, she is part of the home workforce, the home business, helping out the home. She's part of it. Remember I told you about the egalitarian society, meaning that when the 4-room houses were constructed, the children had an even space with X amount of square footage. The woman had X amount of square footage, the men, and it was all equal and they all had access to each other. You don't have that in societies that are misogynistic. You just don't have that. And male chauvinism is a more modern term that I'm using to explain the modern behavior, but misogyny, right, goes back to Greek, right? Miso and Guinea, it goes back to the Greek. But even these two terms are foreign to Hebrew because we don't have those words in Hebrew. Those words don't exist in Hebrew. But anyway, it still explains behavior that some men exhibit today. In the situation where Abraham was talking to his servant about Isaac and say, I want you to go and get a wife for my son, right? The servant prays to say, look, if I encounter a woman and this is what she says or whatever, I know she's the one. He went, saw Rebecca entreated him and said, hey, blah, blah, blah. She said all the things. He said, oh man, can I go back and meet your father? So what happens is she takes the guy, brings her to her father. He talks to the father and said, look, I prayed to the Most High. My master Abraham sent me to go look for a wife for his son, blah, blah, blah. And what happens? After he Abraham's servant asks Rebecca's father, hey, they go to her and say, hey, do you want to agree to this? Wait, what? Wait, hold on. I thought they were misogynistic. I thought they was like, the women don't matter. She just property. We ain't going to. Why does she have a voice and whether or not she wanted to agree to the marriage? See, the problem with people who proof text and cherry pick is that they create an entire doctrine off of one line of passage. Who does that? And then say, well, context doesn't matter every time. Who says that? Who says context doesn't matter every time? Okay, so instead of them dealing with the information I provided in this lecture, they all focusing on a virgin being stoned to death. First of all, if she's being stoned, she's not a virgin. That's number one. Number two, whenever there's a pledge and that dowry or that bride price is given to the father, and the purpose of that dowry is to make up for the loss of the daughter no longer being in the home and being an avid, contributor to the workforce of the home, right? That also buys the man some time to get his house in order so he can support this woman, because the man has obligations to a woman. Torah would never tell you have obligations to something that does not matter. Why would there be stipulations on how to treat something if that something does not matter? Why would you have Song of Solomon if there's no such thing as love between a man and a woman? What the heck is going on? Why did Rebecca open up the scene and ask her, do you want to join in with this? She said, yeah. She could have said, nah, I'm not with that, Pops. But yet they didn't even read the entire context. But wait, when you go into Kemetic lecture, matter of fact, let me bring it up. Damn. You see, I be trying to tell these people to leave me alone, man. They don't want to leave me alone. I don't bother nobody. Why they mess with me? I don't know why they mess with me. But I'm the wrong person to mess with. I told y'all, man, I gotta give y'all the Surgeon General's warning. Leave me alone, or you're gonna get some smoke that's gonna be bad for your health. It's that simple. Let me bring this up. I'm gonna show you guys this, right? And then I'm gonna save this article right here. Look, let me show y'all this. Watch this, man. Let me show this to y'all. I don't know why these people be bothering me, man. They need to fall back. All right. So y'all looking on the screen, right? Watch this. Let me show you this. Let me zoom in a little bit. And this is why I talk about, man, don't be hypocritical, man. You're gonna come against Israelite culture and you subscribing to Kemetic culture, bro. You got some things you need to answer for too. And again, asking that question about Devarim 22, what does that have to do with the presentation and the information I presented? What does that have to do with that? Okay, so watch this. Are y'all looking at this screen? Let me read something for y'all, man. This is why they need to fall back. Like I said, you're dealing with the wrong one. I'm the wrong and the right one for this. Watch this. All right. Severe punishments for having sexual relations with married women are depicted in Egyptian folktales. For example, the tale of the two brothers dating to the New Kingdom describes the punishment of an unfaithful wife. The elder brother Anubis, which is also the name of the dog-headed deity that guards the underworld, right? And this is the Greek rendering of the title, right? Discovers that his wife had tried to seduce his younger brother Bata. As punishment for the act, he dismembers her body and feeds her limbs to the dogs. Why is that in Egyptian literature at all? You're going to make a big deal because they say they stone a woman. And I'm like, yo, you don't see no Israelites stoning their daughters now. Like that is in the sovereignty of a particular period of time in which people looked at certain capital offenses. That's how that culture dealt with capital offenses in their culture. Today is much different. The point I'm trying to make is I was trying to explain to them that this is not something that is uncommon in the ancient Near East. Not only are they cutting this woman up, they're feeding her body to the dogs. Let's keep going. Similarly, the Westcott Papyrus describes what is in store for an unfaithful wife in the story of the wife of a magician who betrayed her husband. When he learns of his wife's meeting with her lover, he makes sure to kill both his unfaithful wife and her lover. And these two stories, the husband is the one who both issues the verdict and the one who carries it out. These stories also emphasize the seriousness of the adulterous woman's punishment to Egyptian eyes. In both cases, the strong sanction of destroying her body, which was necessary to remain whole for the passage of the deceased to the afterlife, is employed. The adulterous woman's flesh was fed to dogs, or her body parts were strewn into the river. Failure to preserve the body was a punishment at the hands of both men and gods. Can we talk about that? Can we deal with that? Are y'all going to run away from that? And I got the primaries too. What is this doing in Egyptian culture? If y'all saying, oh, we love and respect women, we would never do something like that. A Jabari saying, I'm like, but Jabari, bruh, you know how many sources I got on this? I got papers from scholars, Egyptologists I have written on this. You don't want to go there. He went there. So I said to him, I said, okay, look, when I get the time, put all my sources together and we're going to go through this. But nevertheless, I do not run away from that passage. What I'm simply saying is the information I put in that lecture was designed to teach the men in our community that if you oppress the women, number one, not only are you not, doing the culture as it was prescribed, that's number one. But number two, you are also oppressing a voice where the Most High said he speaks for the oppressed. You oppress that voice, the Most High says that he would render vengeance on you. I did a lecture back in 2016 on this. A closed mouth doesn't get pled. The only time that Yah changed Torah was for a group of women. Let that sink in. The only time he changed a law was when a group of women pushed to get their voice heard, and the Most High heard it, and he made an amendment to the law because of a group of women. Now, I talked about the acrostic poem of Proverbs. People say, oh, Proverbs of 31 women and all of that. Well, did you know that's an acrostic poem? And when you look in the biblical Hebrew, acrostic poems are only written about things that have value, that you want to extract certain attributes and make it known in a poetic way so that when it's read, it's beautiful. You can admire it. You can adore it. Right? Correct. The daughters of Zelophehad, right? Or Hayat, right? So watch this. I talked about that. I talked about Hakma, right? I went into Hakma and I related it to the wife open up her mouth with wisdom, going back to Mishlei 8 and going to Mishlei 18 and connecting that with Proverbs 31. I went and I talked about the JPFs, the Judean pillar figurines, and how almost all of them were of females, of women, and some of them were found in male quarters, right? And some of them also represented ancestors that have passed. Like today, we have pictures that we put on the wall of a loved one that passed or who died. They would use figurines to represent them sometimes. The males. The women would use it for other things as well. But these were terracotta. They were made from clay. They were not idolized. It wasn't until much later on during the reforms of Hezekiah and Josiah that they started to become idolized, and therefore they had to outlaw all of it. And then when we read the book of Deuteronomy, which is a post-exilic addition to the rest of Torah, and this is what the scholars say, right? Then we find a more all-inclusive rendering of what is considered an idol as opposed to what we read in the book of Shemot. The point I'm trying to make is you see a whole bunch of mother-child figurines. Why is there a whole bunch of mother-child figurines all throughout this area and period of time when you say there's a whole bunch of misogyny? Why would that be allowed? Why would these JPFs be allowed? Why would you have quarters that are open and the same size for men and women? Why would you have that? Why would you have burials that didn't make a distinction between men and women? Why would you have this stuff? Potteries, the possession of potteries that you see from ancient Israel. Guess what? The men and women had similar potteries. There was no distinction. But in other cultures, a distinction. So this is men. It's more important. This is the women to get the basic stuff. All I did was bring out information, trying to explain to the community why there should not be any male chauvinism where you have an extreme patriotic fervor of your gender and you believe that you are superior over the opposite gender. So what happens is whenever there's an overzealousness of attributes, right? Overzealous of the expression of attributes that is given to one gender, then what Yah does is that he uses the other gender to balance that out. And sometimes you have the underutilization of certain attributes of one gender where Yah has to use the other gender to balance it out. When I do my series, I'm going to point out every passage. Series coming up. I have to do it now. I'm going to pull out every passage that is believed to be misogynistic, that is believed to be, male chauvinism, whatever. And again, when I showed you the book about women in ancient Israel and Ugaritic, y'all got to read that book. It gives you the whole history of how this attitude came to be and how our community has adopted this attitude, antiquated attitude from the oppressors, and they've already evolved past them. The point I'm trying to make is very simple, is that Yah is about balance. Any of these passages that people say is misogynistic, I've gone through each and every one of them, and it's not there. It's simply not there. But what happens is when you read it the way that the 17th, 16th, 17th, 18th century scholars were reading it, where they were shunning any kind of, looking into how women lived, during that period of time and how they were respected and how they were honored by their men, they gloss over all of that because in their culture, they make men superior over women. That wasn't Israelite culture. Men have roles, women have roles, right? The women do not intrude upon the man's role, and the man does not intrude upon the women's role. And they work together to become echad, so they can be the best reflection of the Creator, because the Creator possesses both feminine and masculine attributes. Hokmah is considered feminine. It's a personification of wisdom. It's feminine. Mishlei 8 goes into detail about that. And then the only time that we really see it in the book of Proverbs, attributed to an individual, right, that's actually speaking it, we see it the Proverbs 31 women. When people say all the time, Proverbs 31 women. There's so many things in that Proverbs that people miss. You would not have that in a misogynistic society. It would not exist. Why is it there? So this is me dealing with those in the conscious community. Now, in my community, brothers are like, but the man is the head. What are you talking about? Who said that? Oh, well, feminism teaches. Who's siding with feminism? What are you talking about? Bruh, what is you talking about? This was not to undermine the male's role. See, it only makes men feel a certain kind of way when they're insecure about what they're supposed to do. See, insecurity will surface when somebody's speaking truth. When things are cutting you, your insecurity will surface. So I realized that we have a lot of insecure men in our community. Why? It's that insecurity that causes these men to berate the women in our community. And now we have a situation where we have a lot of women in our community that are leaving. Not because they don't subscribe to the truth, but because the way they're being treated by the men in the community, simply because we don't have teachings like this. See, this teaching, I myself have to subject myself to. If I'm veering off here or there, I must also remind myself and subject myself to it as well. But when we have more teachings like this, it creates balance. And if any women that's out there, any righteous woman out there knows that she will naturally submit if a man is leading the right way. She will naturally submit. And when I say naturally submit, meaning that there are things that he does. Submission is a form of trust. That means she is saying, okay, these things I normally would do for myself, but I'm going to put it aside and I'm going to give it to you to do. Here you go. The man has points in times where he must submit to what the woman is doing, because there are some things that men just can't do. So you got to submit to that when the woman is able to do that. So what I'm saying is, the problem is a lot of insecure men surfaced when I did that presentation. Why is this affecting you? When did I say that? Oh, we should have the women on the front line. They should be leading and we should be worshiping the women. Did y'all hear me say that? Did I say that in that presentation? I didn't say that in that presentation. That's not what I said. So how is it that they're interpreting this? It's because a lot of these men have not been trained well in reconstructive culture. They don't know all that information I brought out. You know what the conscious community do? You'll see all that information I brought out, right? They'll be like, all right, well, what about this verse? Wait, hold on. I know you got a concern over there, but why don't you deal with what I just brought out? They don't want to touch it. You know why? Because what can they say about it? In our community, I show our community that. They say, well, here, the Bible says that the man is the head of the woman. They say it right there. Bro, that's not even what I'm talking about. Like, where are you getting at? So I realized that certain men that are not comfortable in their masculinity feel threatened when they see things like this. And I feel ashamed that there's so many of these men are in our community. But you know what? If somebody was to see this and was to be pricked by it and say, you know what, man, I didn't even know this. I didn't even know this, because I'm showing you material and non-material culture, and say, man, you know what? Women do have value, because our ancestors were valuing their women. And all of the proof texts that are used to say this is misogynistic, this is misogynistic is not misogynistic. And when I do my series, I will unpack all of that. Because some women leave because they'll hear somebody in the conscious community say, well, you see, they said this is women being oppressed right here. And then the property thing. So somebody give me a verse. Watch this. Let's do this. Somebody give me a verse in Torah where it says that women are property. And when I say women, I'm not talking about spoils of war, captives of war. I'm talking about women within the tribe of Israel where it says that she's property. Don't allude to the bride price. But show me where you see the word. There's a word for property in Hebrew. Show me where it says that women are property. Show that to me. Somebody give me that verse real quick. I'll wait. Somebody give me that verse. I'll wait on it. Okay? And again, this is not me pandering to women. This is not me pandering to men. This is me being objective. I had to look at this and say, wow, this is the truth. Whether I like it or not, this is what it is. This has nothing to do with pandering to anybody. This is bringing out the truth. This is the facts. Somebody give me a scripture that says that women, Israelite women, to other men are property. Somebody give me that scripture. Anybody pull it out. Yahoo says there is not one. Hold on, I'm going to bring him up right here. Somebody give me that scripture. I'll wait. Somebody give me that scripture. Because I see some lurkers in here. There's some lurkers in here that are Christian apologists, and that's some part of the people who are committed community. Give me one scripture where it says that a woman is property. I'll wait. Oh, wait. Shema. That's too heavy for them, my brother. I just want to get simple with them, because sometimes they say I'm too deep. Give me one passage where it says that women are property. I'll wait. Anybody? I agree, Eliyahu. Thank you, my brother. Can anybody bring out a scripture where it says that women are property? Anybody? So when you hear people in other communities say this stuff, you got to check them. Check them. And you know what I said? I said, okay, let me just give it to you that let's say that women were considered property, right? Even though you can't find a passage, because they be scrambling for stuff. You go into the Hebrew, you give them the context, give them the history, look at the material culture. None of that means nothing. They just, why did the pastor say that? So all I'm saying is, let's say that the woman is property, even though you can't find a passage for that. And brothers, don't be telling the sisters that, because you got to show a passage for that. Where does it say that? Brothers, where does it say that? Where does it say that the woman is the Israelite woman from amongst your tribe, your people, is your property? Show that to me. The bride price is to supplement the loss that the father experiences for the lack of a workforce in the house. It's the man showing his due diligence that he's going to do all he can to abide by the statute, laws, and commandments, and treating that woman fairly. He must provide her food, clothing, and cohabitation. He cannot remove that from her. So he must provide that. Are you hearing what I'm saying? But let's say for sake of argument that she is property. You know what I say? I said, listen, anything that is your property, as a man, you are obliged to provide, to protect, and to lead it. What am I saying? If you have a house, you must provide for that house. You must protect that house. If your children is your property, you must provide for those children. You must protect those children. If you are a pastoralist and you have animals, or you got a farm or garden, that's your property. You must provide and you must protect it. That's all it's saying. You have an innate obligation to provide and protect as the man. And zakar, which is your Hebrew word for remember, but also for male, the man is supposed to remember these things. So if the woman was considered property, even though you ain't got the scripture for it, That only goes to show that is, you have an obligation as a man to protect and provide for that which is your property. If you have a house, are you going to just randomly throw a ball and break the windows, or take a bat and start breaking things? Why would you treat your house that way? If you got a dog, are you going to feed your dog poison? Are you going to hit your dog with a bat, beat your dog? Would you do that? And in your right mind, would you do that to your children in your right mind? If you have a garden, would you go in your garden and sow weeds in your garden? Right? Chop the trees down, just throw it in the fire? Nobody mistreats their property. So even if I was giving you the sake of the argument to say, okay, let's say women is property, because that's how you perceive it. All I'm saying is, as a man, that tells you what you're obligated to do. But because they can't find that passage, I just be laughing at them. So all I'm saying, brothers, sisters in the community, when you hear anybody giving that pseudo argument that women is property, all you got to do is ask them for the passage. Brothers, don't feel a certain kind of way because I made a lecture on addressing male chauvinism in the Israelite community. Only the hit dog hollers. So what's going on? What's going on? Why are the brothers hollering about this? Why are they getting mad and feeling a certain kind of way? As an Israelite, you are the property of the Most High. That's why you get his provision. That's why you get his protection. That's why you get the blessings, because you're his property. Do you feel a certain kind of way because you're his possession? Because, you know, the text does call Israel his possession. That's there. Do you feel a certain kind of way? How is that relationship you have with the Most High? Is he beating you? Is he doing you wrong, doing you dirty? If any consequences come to you, it's because you're not keeping your end of the bargain. He even came to a point where he says, let us reason. Why would the Most High want to reason with you? Who are you, man? What a man that thou art mindful of him, or the son of man that thou visited him. For those of you that love the KJV, I love it. It's very poetic in the KJV. But anyway. Okay. All right. Like I tell people all the time, you cannot take contemporary, modern way of thinking and superimpose it during a time period where they didn't have none of the issues, politically correctness, and all the stuff that we have today. It's a different culture and a different period of time. Why would men, in their right mind, listen, men that's saying that their patron deity is the creator of all things, why would they agree to write in a text where they will allow their daughter to be mishandled by another man? Like, why would you do something like that? Oh, I guess if they were misogynistic, they would do that. That's not what they did. The Greeks were more misogynistic towards their women than the Israelites were. Did y'all know that? Let me give you an example. Right? The sons of Jacob, sons of Israel. What happened to their sister? Y'all tell me what happened to their sister. Right? Wasn't their sister raped? If they treated women in a misogynistic way, why would they want to go and get revenge for a woman that was raped if women were nothing? Why are there laws protecting women when they get raped if women are just a piece of property or possession and they don't mean anything? Why would you have these laws there? Why would you have retribution for this? Why would you have capital punishment for this? Why? Why would you have this? What? I can't. What was that? Oh, okay. Cool. Why would you have Song of Solomon in the text? Why would that be there? Can you tell me why would they put that in there? Why would you have a book called Esther in the text? Why would you have a book called Ruth in the text? Why are these books there? Women don't matter. Why do you have to have a narrative with these books in it? What? What was that? What? Oh, okay. Okay, cool. Why would the Most High say that he's going to court Israel like a man courts his wife? Where he says that he has to get into a place of intimacy with her. You know, when people say that Baali, like, oh yeah, he says Baali. So right there, the Most High is saying he's Baal. That's not what that says. Stop it. We dealt with that. So facts, Dory Giddens, facts. Shout out to the brothers that are secure in their masculinity, men that are speaking about this, and the sisters that know that this is facts. Okay. What does that say? Hold on. Let me see what that says. Sister put it, look what she said. An excellent wife is the crown of her husband. Why is that in the text? Why is somebody writing that? Who's putting that there? What's that? Okay. Look at this. I didn't write none of this. I didn't write none of this. And remember what I told y'all? Women had the choice to be with these men. Even in arranged marriages. I gave you the example of Isaac and Rebecca. They had a say-so. Why would you write that in the text if you are misogynistic? Why would that be there? Okay. All right, my brother Reliable Andrew, this is not for you, my brother. I know y'all are y'all understand, but I'm saying this for the other people who left comments, who did thumbs down, who inboxed me on it. I'm just like, bruh, like that's what you got from this? Okay. All right, let's move forward. So I'm about to close in about 14 minutes. I'm gonna keep this under 2 hours. All right. Does anybody have any other questions or anything like that? Let me know. All right, because I gotta close off. I gotta holler at my brother Shema real quick, and then get settled in for the night. Yes, family, please hit that thumbs up button. Family, please hit that thumbs up. All right, hit that subscribe button, family, please, and share this video if you can. I appreciate everybody that's in here with us late in the late at night, early in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Some of y'all could be asleep right now, waiting to go to church in a few hours, but you're here with us. All right, so I appreciate that. All right, I appreciate that. All right, Shamar, thank you. Please do that. Okay. So Torrio says, why is the Bible written in third person? It was redacted. That's why we have it in the third person. It's a narrative that was written because a lot of it was written non-contemporaneous to the events that occurred. That's why a lot of it is written in the third person. Shout out to my sister Sharandala Maduka in the building. Mike, Mikhail, James, what's going on? By hearing and hearing by, what's going on, sis? All right. I agree. Just call me text. But you know, some people out there that just don't like hearing this type of stuff. So they're not going to like, they're just going to come in here and lurk and troll, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? Thank you, my brother Willie Littlejohn, for the sub. I appreciate that, King. Thank you so much. All right. So anybody got any final questions, concerns, anything like that before I close off? And like I said, family, once you understand the culture, there's nothing that nobody can say that can move you off your square. Because all these ignorant stuff that they be saying, they just don't understand. So I personally just feel bad for them. They're just speaking from a place of ignorance. You know what I'm saying? Some of them are naive. You feel me? But willful ignorance is really what pisses me off, though. Willful ignorance, all right? So Kanisha Morgan, I have a lecture coming up with that. So I don't know if you can hold your horses or pull the reins in a little bit, because I know you've been asking that several times. But I'm working on several series this fall, starting in September. Several series I'm working on: the Death to Dogma series, Back to Basic series. Doing a series talking about all the so-called misogynistic texts. Doing one on polygyny as well, since I've been getting a lot of requests about that. So I guess I'll just put a lesson out on that for people who are interested in that subject matter. And then there's one on the language. I'll probably do one on the language as well to encourage people to get into the language. Most of these series will be Patreon only series, but some of them I will feature and debut on the YouTube channel. So if you don't mind, family, www.patreon.com/DivineProspect. Please click on that link or type it in your URL box and pledge. Get access to these resources, to our giveaways, to our articles, to the news, early access, exclusive content. And when these series come up, right, you guys get exclusive access to these series that I think is necessary for the community. So that way we can start to come together, man. And, you know, these lectures that are done, it's not popular, you know, and I'm the first to tell you, you know, I take the biggest heat, You know what I'm saying? When I say certain things, when I bring certain things out, people in our community marginalize me. You know what I'm saying? And they just don't like some of the stuff that I'm saying because it's in contradiction to whatever established dogma that they exist on. And, you know, we say death to dogma. That's how we rock over here. You feel what I'm saying? So Michael James said, when you say language, are you talking Hebrew, Greek, or just Hebrew only? What do you mean by that question? What do you mean? So Virtue said, could you break down some Hebrew communities in Africa and their halakha? Excellent question. Go back and check out my lecture. If you haven't seen it, Virtue, my lecture called How Do We Walk It Out? And I showed the Igbo. And I showed you that their halakha is what you see in Ondenani and Omenana. Okay? So if you haven't seen that, Virtue, go check that lecture out. All right? He said, when we get in this halakha. You are Moray Shama? Send me the link, man. I'm gonna come in and lurk in there and see what you guys are talking. All right. A lesson on language. So the lesson is gonna be on biblical Hebrew, and it's gonna have some Ugaritic, and I'm gonna touch on some Syriac. All right, and I'm gonna tell you why I prefer the Syriac New Testament. Okay, I'm gonna get into that as well. I'm gonna explain that to you. Millie Love, I agree, sis. I agree. Facts, Dura Yahoo. You're right. They have. I appreciate the reliable Andrew. You know, I shouldn't be. To you guys, I'm not. But to the overarching community, it's like you hurting their doctrine that they're teaching their congregations, man. And they don't like that. You know, you bring in subject matters that are taboo to the surface and you're dealing with them. And they get mad. You know, I went into the word pezel and I try to, talk about the word pezel to the community, right? And in regards to something being hewn or cut. And when I explained to you about the terracottas were not outlawed because they were made out of clay. And clay is not usually cut or hewn. Only stone, metal, or wood is cut or hewn, okay? So when I go into the JPFs and I talk about the Judean pillar figurines, and I explain to people that this was not outlawed, this was common. It only became outlawed when the Israelites started going off and they started worshiping these objects, and that was not its intended function. Okay, it's like if I have a picture in my house of a great grandparent who died. I'm not worshiping that picture, but if I do worship it, then it becomes wrong. But having it as a remembrance of that person, is that against Torah? No, it's not. People say, oh, that's a graven image. You're taking that completely out of context, man. But that's neither here nor there, man. Just Call Me Tech said, Ugaritic, is that Phoenicians? No, Ugaritic is not Phoenicians. Ugaritic comes from the city of Ugarit, and Ugaritic is the West Semitic language that they spoke at Ugarit. And they are the best representation, literally, or literature-wise, of the Canaanites. Phoenicians, we have some information left behind from the Phoenicians that we can reconstruct the Phoenician culture. But you can learn about some Phoenician Canaanite culture from Ugarit, right? But language-wise, Phoenician is also similar to Hebrew and Ugaritic. It would fall into that category, right? Canaanite will as well, like Moabite will, Ammonite will as well, because we have inscriptions from Moabite as well. The Moabite stela is one, or the Moabite stone, or the Misha stela is one of them. Okay. So thank you, Moray Shema. Please do that, my brother. All right. All right. So I think I covered enough tonight, family. Please be sure to share this video. Rewind it, watch it again if you have. If you're new to this channel, thank you for hitting subscribe. Thank you for joining our family. Much love to you guys. We also have open panel discussions. So if you ever want to come on here and voice your opinion, or you want to build with me or the people in the chat, you're given an opportunity to do that. All right. We're very fair. All right. We've had debates on here as well. And anybody can attest the debates that we have on here is extremely fair. Right. Where I give, the person who has an opposite vantage point an opportunity to speak, no matter how wild those things may be. Right. Also, we have a Patreon that gives back. So when you sign up for our Patreon, we do so much on there to give back to you for your investment in keeping this ministry afloat. Thank you to you guys who are my regulars, my day ones on here. You're up here at 2:30 in the morning, chilling with me, and I appreciate that. All right. Like my sister Nisi say, thank you to all you guys for your donation. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your shares as well. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up button. All right. Hit the thumbs up button. All right. Just call me, text. If you want some information on Ugaritic, just email me. Okay. And I got you. I'm gonna add Syriac academic lessons and Ugaritic academic lessons and workbooks to the Patreon soon. All right. So those who want to get into Ugaritic, who want to get into the Syriac, I will have those available on the Patreon as well. All right. Thank you, my brother Alex McCaskill. I appreciate you, my brother. You joined us recently, and I appreciate your support. My brother Black Av in the building. What's going on? Truth Seeker, what's going on? What's going on? He said, I read that less than 400,000 slaves were shipped. What's your source for that, Truth Seeker? What's your source for that? Because from everything that I've done through my independent research, it was approximately 12.5 million people shipped. Matter of fact, it can't be 400,000. You know why? Because we have records in Brazil of more than that was taken to Brazil. That's where most of the individuals from the African diaspora from the transatlantic slave trade, they were brought to Brazil. It was more than 400,000 that was brought to Brazil. Matter of fact, 400,000 is what came directly here to the shores of America, North America, maybe to the colonies. Maybe that's what you're talking about, right? But they were being brought to the West Indies, the Caribbean islands, Central America, South America, even brought to Europe. You know what I'm saying? So the 400,000 you referred to might be just talking about those that came directly to the colonies in North America. That would be accurate. But outside of that, way more was brought to other areas. Okay? Thank you so much, my brother. One mind, one body, Yah spirit. That's for you, my brother Virtue. He posted the link for Walk It Out. All right, please check that out if you want to learn about the Halakha and ask me how can we identify the Halakha in West Africa. And I use the Igbo as a case example of that. And you can go ahead and check that out and you can see. All right. Joe King says we was already here. There's people that argue that as well that says we're indigenous to this land. That could be another discussion for another time. I can open up the panel for that if you guys want to talk about that in the future. No problem. Let's just get into that. All right. So Derayahu, I have the Antioch Bible, right? The Syriac English translation. I think it's okay. What I'm doing now is I'm becoming more adept in the Syriac, so I can start doing my own translations, right? I'm getting there, right? Because I'm doing little parsings here and there. I'm not as versed as I'm in biblical Hebrew, but I want to be equal as versed in Ugaritic, Syriac, and biblical Hebrew. And then later on, I can get into the Greek a little bit more. I hate the Greek, man. I hate Greek. But I need to know it when I talk to these pastors, Christian apologists, and these scholars. I got to know Greek. You can't get away with it. All right. All right. So with that said, family, man, I appreciate all you guys, man. Thank y'all for being here, showing your love and support. Thank y'all for checking me, correcting me. You know what I'm saying? My brother Get Wise says, can't wait to see KHM in Houston. Yes, that is the next destination. Once everything is right in the state and we got everything okay on this end in KHM, we will be there in Houston. We will also be in Baltimore, DC, and we will also be in LA. Those are the next 3 cities that we will be in. We will also be in New York City. We will also be in North Carolina this year. All right. So those are the 5 places that we will be this year, Yah willing. All right. Chemo, correct. So if you guys, want us in your city, in your town, we need a minimum of at least 10 people that want to sign up for the organization, and we'll come out there and we'll touch bases with y'all, physically meet y'all. You can discern me, I can discern y'all. We can work together. I still have to follow up on my previous 3 chapters, make sure they're strong and they're solidified and they doing what they got to do to get things off of the ground. I gotta follow up with my family in Norfolk, Virginia, because we just brought some new people on there. Shout out to my brother Seth. My brother Seth, I think you've been messaging me. I received an influx of messages, so I think I seen yours pop up, but I didn't read what you saw, my brother. I apologize. I'm gonna get to it as soon as possible. Okay, I appreciate that. All right, Malik Shalom. All right, what's your last question, my brother? No problem, my sister Kenesha Morgan. I'll deal with that. Matter of fact, I'll do a preliminary open panel discussion on that first. Because I like interaction, and then from there I'll know what exactly to build on if I do a lesson on it. All right. What's your question, my brother Malik? Thank you so much, my brother Derayahu Bandora. Thank you for being here, my brother, as always, and showing support and holding us down in the chat. I appreciate you. All right, learned a lot from you as well. All right. Malik, what's your question, Ak? I'm about to get off. What's your question, my brother? You said short answer for what? What did you say? What was your question? I don't see it. Can you put it in there again, Malik, so I can grab it real quick? I think I answered already. Oh, you said I answered it? Okay, cool. All right, family, let's get off. We at 2 hour mark. Okay. Thank you guys for joining in. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you guys for being with me. All right. If you guys need any support, any questions, any inquiries, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com. Look in the description below so you can follow me in all forms of social media, because I may put things out on there that I might not discuss on YouTube. If you guys want to support the ministry, there's ways you can do it below. And if you guys need anything, like I said already, email us at kingdomharbinger@gmail.com, and we're going to do our best to assist you. All right. I love you, family. Thank y'all for watching. Peace and shalom.